Age Media. You know what to do. Hit the like button, subscribe to the channel. Thanks. We got lots of stuff coming up.
Biniam Girmay and the entire team basically will not be attending the Worlds, which is crazy, which is insane to think about. If you just, So, Bini is probably one of the favorite riders for, like, probably not to win, but to make the race exciting. And you never know with Biniam Girmay, the guy, the talent, he's just amazing. So you never know what's going to happen and what he can do if he gets a good run at the finish line or what. So it's just a bit insane that. Okay, we are trying to move that to the side. We move that down there like that. Okay, yeah. So let's just do that. Yeah, it's just I can't even begin to think what's going on and why these guys aren't being allowed into the UK to race. So I'm saying that, but there is a news article. Let's see if I can show my screen. If it's going to let me show my screen. Here we go. So we don't want that page. We want. So yeah, get my subscribers up, people. If you tuned in, like and subscribe to the channel. We get the subscribers up so I can, fulfill out the dream and do what I plan to be doing. What what is the word that I'm looking for? There is a objective for Innislubi, Say It With Your Legs, and it's not just to like be a popular YouTuber and whatnot. I would like to open up. I know I'm not would like to. I am going to open up International Youth Cycling Academy. Just trying to figure out like which country it's going to be in. I definitely want it to be in Europe, and the main reason to be in Europe is so that the kids that I do get to bring in, they have access to like the best equipment, the best spikes, the best races and stuff, so they can have a sort of be on equal playing field as to other kids that are into the sport. So if you don't know, like a lot of American kids come over to Belgium and different places in Europe so they can hone their skills, because being in America it's not going to do it. You have to be here. So that's the point of having an International Youth Cycling Academy inside of Europe. So, and it will be like, mainly directed towards minorities, kids whose parents probably can't afford to fund such a venture. So anyway, that's what my channel is about. So like and subscribe to the channel. Let's get into the story. It says Biniam Girmay, Africa's leading professional cyclist and one of the favorites for the World Championships road racing Glasgow on Sunday, is understood to have been denied by the UK a visa by the Home Office. Now, the Home Office, I've had my issues with them. It's not they can be really, not cool at all. And then let me just, I need to push me to the side because I just realizing you probably can't see anything. If I go like that. And yeah, so, and I just need to make the Vinny smaller. So yeah, so put that over there, and then I'll start again. So let's go back to the article, and the article says, Biniam Girmay, Africa's leading professional cyclist and one of the favorites for the World Championship road race in Glasgow on Sunday, is understood to have been denied a UK visa by the Home Office. That's here in Great Britain. So I'm going up to Scotland on Friday. I'm going to be spending the weekend there, like Saturday, Sunday. And my main goal was to try to bump into some of the African cyclists and talk to mainly the African cyclists. So that like puts a really big, ticket is paid for to get up there on the train and stuff. And it's a 5-hour trip on the train, and the trains in the UK aren't the greatest, but we're going to see how we get on. So it goes on to say the Eritrean stage winner in the girod'italia and also the winner of Gent-Wevelgem in Belgium finished the Tour de France on the 23rd of July. So that was an amazing feat that he finished the tour, because it was possibly one of the hardest Tour de France so far I've seen in a while. and for his first Tour de France, and to finish that, I mean, because they basically put in like just tons of mountains. Basically, they made the course as hard as possible so it can challenge Pogacar and Vingegaard. So that's who they designed the course for those guys, to challenge those guys, to make them have a good race. But then at the back end of that, you get guys like Vinny, who pretty much have to do the best they can to make the cutoff for each stage and get to Paris. So he made it to the Champs-Elysees. He finished his first Tour de France. I mean, hats off to him. He finished 12th in the points, and that's the sprinter's jersey. So the most consistent sprint finisher. So basically, there are points awarded down from, I believe, 1st to 15th, or the 1st to 20 or something like that. And you get awarded points, and you accumulate points. And the person who is the most consistent, who accumulates the most points. So if you win stages on the sprint stages, you're obviously going to get the most points, which is what the guy from Intermarché did, and he won the green jersey. But you can finish second, third, and consistently, like Peter Sagan done in a few times. And he still won the green jersey because he was more consistent. You had other guys win the stage, but then the next stage they were finished down in 10th, and Peter Sagan was still finishing second and third and fourth. So you can still win the green jersey without even winning a stage. So it is possible. So he finished 12th in the points, and he did pretty good for his first outing. I think his best finish was third. And there was a bit of controversy with one of the stages where it should have been a protest, but he didn't protest it. So, I guess the new guy, maybe his team told him, don't worry about it, but I definitely would have kicked the fuss. So anyway, the Eritrean stage, a stage winner, the Girod'italia, which was also amazing, and also a win of Gent Wevelgem in Belgium. That was amazing to see. Finished the Tour de France on the 23rd of July. He immediately continued his pursuit of a visa and to enable him to race in what the sport governing body in the Union Cyclist International, the UCI, is called the Super Worlds. And the reason why they're calling it the Super Worlds is because it's the first time that basically every cycling discipline will be held at the same time in the same place. So it's going to be BMX track, mountain bike, gravel. Everything is going to be this like over the next 2 weeks in Scotland. And so so it's not like you're going to somewhere else for the BMX World Championships, and then you're going to another place for the Track World Championships, then to another place for the road or mountain bike. Everything is going to be in the same place, which is going to be amazing. Everything's going to be in the same place for the first time, except for possibly the best African rider to come out of the continent in forever. And his name is Biniam Girmay from Eritrea. Like I said, let's get on with the story so we can see how the story unfolds, because I reported yesterday that he's not coming because he crashed in San Sebastian, and so that was the case. I'm thinking, okay, he must have hurt himself, whatever, but that was not the case. So let's read on and see. Girmay crashed in his most recent race last Sunday. However, with 4 days remaining to the elite men's road race, Girmay is now understood to have withdrawn from the championships, along with several others who are facing similar issues in obtaining a visa. The 23-year-old's visa delays were first reported on Wednesday morning, but had been known for some time. His sponsors, Intermarché Circus Wante, responded to the news by posting on social media that he was withdrawing due to his injuries, despite having tweeted last Sunday, "Great news," and confirmed that he had left the hospital with no fractures or serious injuries. One of those who had assisted Girmay with his visa application told The Guardian, if the UK wants to organize a world championships, then maybe facilitate and help riders to get visas or call it the European Championships. Girmay is not the only African rider missing out in Glasgow, with his compatriots Nathaniel Tesfacion, Mahawi Kudus, and Emmanuel. I used to know how to say his last name, Gazibria, also reported to have denied visas to enter the UK. The UCI has not responded to the request for comment, but the Home Office spokesman said, "We do not routinely comment on individual cases. All visa applications are carefully considered on the individual merits in line with the immigration rules," adding, We have been working closely with organizers to ensure that participants of the events are clear on the visa application process and timelines. According to Kimberly Coates, Chief Executive of Team Africa Rising, which supports the career of development and African riders, the problems on visas being issued were due to the decision-making powers of the UK government. Because the riders in question, Eritrean professionals, are far from being flight risk, she said, it comes down to a decision by someone processing visas in the UK. So that sounds like it's an individual that looked at this and said, not today. So and I can attest to that because I traveled to Switzerland. I think it was back in must have been 2015. It's because it was before I went to the US, but 2015 or 2014, I traveled to Switzerland, France, Switzerland, for my little regular weekend cycling trips, and I had been doing this pretty much every summer for maybe 3 or 4 summers. I just go spend the weekend, and sometimes I go 2 or 3 because it's pretty inexpensive to go from the UK to Europe to take your bike and ride the mountains or whatever, Alpe d'Huez or Stelvio or whatever your favorite mountain is. And I go. I think this was my second time for the year going. And when I got back from Switzerland, I had an amazing ride. I mean, I literally buried myself, almost killed myself. But in the process, I come back having a good time and stuff, and then I'm coming through and everything, so because we have a Bermuda passport, which is still a British passport, because we are a Commonwealth country. They look at the passport. Okay, yeah, you're a Commonwealth country. Yeah, go ahead. Bish bash bosh stamp on your way. I got a younger guy who decides there's a problem with your passport. I said, there's no problem with my passport. This is my job ID. This is where I work. This is my pay slips from the past whatever years. I've been working and living here. I pay rent at this place. This is my thing. And I got to check your thing, your passport, because I'm not, because I'm not sure if you're supposed to be allowed into the country. So, dude, what are you talking about? I've been living here since 2000. It's 2015, and I'm not on, government support or anything. I work. I have a job. I pay taxes. Don't do this. No, you gotta wait. Okay, dude, I'll sit and I'll wait. So I sat and I waited for, must have been a half hour to 45 minutes before he came back to say that I was okay to enter back into the UK. Now, mind you, my passport, if you look to my passport, there were stamps that said that I had traveled in and out of the UK already early in the year. And I had my in the States, you have your what is it called, your Social Security, but here we have your national insurance. So I have my national insurance card. He can see all of that, and he was trying to be clever and stuff. And then after it was all done, I said, okay, cool, I'm gonna sit here, because I know for a while, I pay rent to somebody. I have I've been doing that for quite some time, and all of this, no way you're gonna detain me or hold me talking about I can't enter the country. So I just sat there and waited. And he comes back probably a good half an hour to 45 minutes later, and he says, okay, now you're okay to go. I said, you know what, dude, you are gonna apologize, right, for that, because you were out of place. You can quite clearly say all my documents were in order, all my documents. And he just stone face. He just looked straight at me, and almost ready to say something not so nice, but whatever. But I was like, you owe me an apology, man. And he's just looked at me, wasn't apologizing for nothing, and he didn't. So, but anyway, he didn't apologize, and that was that. So I'm only saying this story as they say, as they say in the article. He says, it comes down to a decision by someone processing the visa in the UK. So this is a similar situation. This was a young man who saw me, and he decided that I looked like I didn't belong or whatnot, and he was going to try to pull my card, which was not the case. So it's a similar thing. I can guarantee I could be absolutely wrong, but whoops, sorry, just knocked over my other. Sorry, people, if anybody's watching. So yeah, it's a shame. It's a total shame. It's a total shame that it comes down to one person deciding if you're going to get entry or not. And this is Biniam Girmay and the Eritrean. And it's I'm trying to figure out what they saw that would say, no, these guys can't come. These guys have been training and racing and riding hard all year, all around the country. And the thing about it is the Eritrean squad is getting stronger and stronger. Every time they have these like world like events, they tend to show up more unified each time. And this is just a setback. I mean, I'm just trying to think, like, is this really like all of the politics, like with like what's going on and stuff? And like, you know, you got a lot of the African leaders is like, you know, letting the UK and other, like, you know, France and people like that know that, you know, it's time for you to stop. You know, like, we're taking back our continent. Is this some type of reaction to that? I'm just speculating because politics is politics. And in some small way, if it is, I would not be surprised. But let's get on with it. And my my conspiracy theories. And it says, while other cyclist firms such as Ukraine Federation have enjoyed some fulsome support, some African athletes have been what is this word? Been stymied by cost. That's not the word. And logistics. For Eritrea, they had to travel to Turkey to apply for a visa, coach said. Benin chose not to send riders, as they would have had to travel to Nigeria to apply for their visas, along with the expenses of sending a team to Scotland. Coach said that some federations have reached out to Team Africa Rising seeking staff in Scotland to save on travel expenses. Many African federations do not have the budgets that can facilitate 20 to 30,000, or that's 16 to 20 to 30,000 K in US dollars, or that's 16 to 24,000 in pounds event, especially when they know the riders are not at the top levels of the sport. Some of the European nations have had much more positive experience, according to Andrea Grekov, president of the Ukraine Cycling Federation, who said that he explained no problems. It was a little difficult to get a license of participation because of our world ranking, Grekov said. So he's talking about basically each rider, as you finish like a UCI race, you get points, and you have to accumulate so many points, so many UCI points. So that's like your riders finishing in the top 20 or 30 of major UCI events, and then your riders and your team can, you know, get the points. So basically, only the top countries will get these points, so you have the best of the best at the World Championships. So that's what he's talking about, getting the top point, getting the points or whatever. So for the UCI, so and coming from Bermuda, like, we, you know, it was really difficult to get points because most of our guys were doing UCI events. So it was very unlikely that we would be going to anything like a World Championship. We had to, you know, wait on a wild card or something, if that even happened, to get, you know, invited to the World Championships. But as we carry on, but we have great support from the U side with the help of our accommodations, travel, and also vehicles. Wow, they got all of that. The Ukraine team are taking 40 in their delegation, comprised of 29 athletes, 11 staff, to Glasgow, and they enjoyed significant financial support from the UCI in the region of €100,000. That's 86,000 pounds. Wow. According to Grikov, he added the UCI had also financially supported the Ukraine teams participating in the World Championships in Australia in 2022. So that's the story. Let's get back to my screen. Thank you for tuning in. I don't know how this weekend is going to pan out. My whole thing was hoping to be able to talk to like one or two riders. And my thing was, I didn't think I would get to talk to someone like Vinny, basically because he's a high-profile cyclist. Like, he is one of the favorites. You know, all the media are after him. And, so I'm just keeping my fingers crossed that I get to talk to some of the other African nations or Caribbean cyclists that have been fortunate enough to make it over to Glasgow this weekend to prepare for the World Championships. There's a rider from Uganda, Charles Kiguma. I need to speak to him to make sure to see that he's still, you know, like, he hasn't had any of these issues coming over. It's insane that the cost that these guys have to go through in order to get to this event so that it can be the best event. It's not like you're just inviting some guys just to make up numbers. You got possibly one of the best riders in the sport, and the course it actually suits a Bini rider because he likes it. It's similar to like the classics, you know, the one day races. It's similar to these type races. It's definitely to his strength, and it's a shame that he will not be able to be here. So I didn't even know what to say on the back of that, and I'm gonna just tap out and leave it at that.
Sever your legs, media. You know what to do. Hit the like button, subscribe to the channel. Thanks. We got lots of stuff coming up.